Robertson with Precision Crop Services in Benton, Illinois. If we look long-term from the standpoint of yield, the results of adjusting your pH correctly is a long-term benefit. You're going to get multiple years of use, so to speak, out of the correct application of limestone, okay? Limestone is cheap, and compared to all the other inputs we have on a corn or soybean crop, limestone is very cheap. So I get the biggest ROI from adjusting my pH. When I get called for a problem-solving issue or a technical service call in a field, and we take a soil test as a result of that investigation, about 90% of the time we find that the pH is low there. Well, that means that we've got low weed control or no weed control, so pH affects herbicide activity and how weeds die or don't die. It also affects persistence, so how long that chemical will stay in the soil. It affects nutrient uptake. It also works with the microbial activity in the soil, and it also works with water uptake of the plants, regulating water uptake. So think of it this way: if you're sitting in an acid environment, if you're drinking something that's very, very acid all the time, you're not going to be very apt to taste and like to take up other things because your tongue's burnt, so to speak. Same thing with plant roots. So I think the biggest thing that farmers need to look at is, number one, doing soil testing on a regular basis. So, and especially as they pick up new farms, whether they're rented or they buy them, they need to be soil testing on a regular basis to know what the pH of the soil is. And then once we establish a guideline, so to speak, or a reference point, then adjusting that pH based on those soil tests with the limestone that they're going to use. And so one of the problems is that if you send soil samples to a laboratory, oftentimes the recommendation you get for limestone is in a pure lime or a 90% limestone. Problem in Illinois is we don't have any of those. And so farmers will often take that recommendation from a soil testing laboratory and use that recommendation by itself without adjusting it to the limestone that they have available or that they can buy locally. And so in many cases, the limestone that we're buying is not as good as 100% or a 90% limestone. It's significantly less than that. So even when we're applying limestone, in some cases, we're under applying what's really needed. So I think the first thing is number one, get a soil test. And number two, then identify the lime source you're going to use. And then number three, adjust the limestone amount to what you're using so that you're putting on the proper amount. There's plenty of resources online. One of the best resources online is actually from the state of Illinois. It's called the Illinois Voluntary Limestone Producers Handbook. And what this is a yearly updated list of the quarries in Illinois, certified crop advisors, Soybean Association, soil envoys are another good resource to grab data from and information on how to adjust your pH and what range to adjust your pH to for your soils and crops.